Hi, I am Maya. What is your name? I like that. I have a story to tell you. It is called The Nutcracker. This version of The Nutcracker tells the story of Clara, who yells when her little brother breaks her new toy. During a very strange and frightening dream that night, she uses her courage to save her toy. When she wakes up, she uses that same courage to forgive her brother, realizing that losing a toy isn't as bad as losing a friendship. Are you ready? Fantastic! Let's begin. Christmas Eve at Clara's house was always wonderful. Not only was her house large and grand, but inside there stood a tree that was 2 stories tall. Clara admired the twinkling lights and shiny round ornaments. Just like the Christmas before, Clara's parents were hosting a Christmas Eve party. Clara and her younger brother Fritz welcomed friends and family as they entered the house. Clara and Fritz danced and played with their little cousins and their cat, Princess. Later that evening, a special guest arrived. It was their Uncle Drossel, who worked as a toy maker. The young children gathered around to see what special surprise he had brought this year. Uncle Drossel uncovered 2 life-sized dolls. Everyone cheered. He set the dolls on either side of the Christmas tree. The children gathered around as Uncle Drossel opened a large sack. "Here's a toy for you and you and you," he said as he handed each of the younger children a toy castle with moving people. Princess the cat pawed at the toys that moved. "And last but not least, here is your gift." Uncle Drossel handed a wooden soldier to Clara. All of the other children, tired of playing with their toys, gazed at Clara's gift. "What is it?" asked Clara politely. "It's a nutcracker," replied Uncle Drossel. He placed a nut inside the holder and pulled the handle down. The shell came off the nut, just like magic. Clara took her gift back with excitement. She was about to crack her own nut when her cousins asked if they could play with it. Clara folded her arms. She didn't want to share. Now, Clara," Uncle Drossel said. "They're just asking to play with the nutcracker for a short time, but it's yours to keep." "All right," Clara replied, though she didn't like being told what to do. Suddenly, as Fritz was trying to crack his nut, there was a loud snap. The nutcracker's arm had broken. Clara yelled at Fritz, who began to cry and say he was sorry. But Clara didn't forgive him. Instead, she yelled, "I'll never do what others tell me to again!" Uncle Drossel laid the broken nutcracker under the towering tree, promising to fix it the next day. Shortly after, Clara's parents announced that it was time for bed. Clara folded her arms again, tired of being told what to do. When the lights were out, Clara tiptoed out of bed and back to the tree. In her hand, she carried a ribbon. She used the ribbon to tie the nutcracker's arm back together. As she finished her knot, a loud bell startled Clara. The clock chimed midnight. As the shadows of night surrounded her, Clara wished she would have stayed in bed as she was told. Before she could run back, Clara realized she was shrinking, and the tree was growing taller. The toys under the tree suddenly came to life. Then an army of mice came scurrying in. Next, a fierce mouse king scratched his way through the crowd and bared his teeth. Quickly, the Nutcracker stepped in front to defend Clara, but the mouse king captured him. "Clara, save me!" cried the Nutcracker. This time, Clara did just as she was told. She ran quickly toward the mat where Princess was sleeping. With a small tug, Clara woke Princess. Princess and Clara charged at the Mouse King. Afraid of cats, the Mouse King and his army fled back into a hole in the wall. "Thank you for being so brave," said the Nutcracker. "You saved my life." To Clara's surprise, the Nutcracker then turned into a handsome prince. That night, the prince led Clara on a journey through the land of snow and over the land of sweets, where she met the sugar plum fairy. Although Clara had always wanted to travel and marry a prince, she still felt bad about how she had yelled at her little brother. She asked the Nutcracker Prince if there was any way she could tell her brother she was sorry. In the blink of an eye, Clara was back in her warm house. She found herself curled up under the familiar Christmas tree with the bandaged Nutcracker. It was all a dream, she thought. She set down her Nutcracker and ran down the hall into the bedroom. "Merry Christmas, Fritz! I love you!" she whispered to her brother, who was fast asleep. And until the first light on Christmas morning woke her, only good dreams danced in Clara's head.